Okay, so one of my videos went kind of viral, well, viral for me, and I wanted to just address the criticism of my criticism about Bill C-8. So it's to regulate concerns of cybersecurity in regards to vital infrastructures, and while that includes telecom providers, it's not limited to that. It also includes things like banking, transportation, and more. So right off the bat, it's quite a bit more broad than people seem to understand. In addition to that, this bill does grant the Minister of Industry, who is Melanie Joly, the ability to secretly direct telecom providers to shut off individual digital services. Now, she can do that if she believes that there are, quote, reasonable grounds to believe that it is necessary to do so to secure the Canadian telecommunications system against any threat. Now, this is more clearly outlined by the Canadian Constitution Foundation, and I would highly recommend going and checking out what their criticism is of this bill to get a better idea of what Canadians are so concerned about. While I completely understand what the government is saying this bill is about, I personally still think we need to be really critical and very concerned over the broad and vague language within this bill. Now, it seems to me that there's a group of people that believe that if the government states that there is a singular intent for a bill, that that is all it can be used for. They seem to think that if the Canadian government wanted to suppress speech and shut down unpopular opinions, deplatform people, that they instead would just be very transparent. They would have a bill called the Bill 123 Suppressing Canadian Speech. Well, they wouldn't. They would use bills like this as a Trojan horse to usher in a whole bunch of legal loopholes so that they can target individuals they don't agree with, and so that they can use the bill in ways not originally intended. And then there's another group of people who seem to support this kind of bill because they're comfortable with the current government in power and they believe the intentions of this government will be good in using this type of power. And that is incredibly short-sighted. The fact is if you don't want that kind of power in the hands of your opposition, then you shouldn't want it in anyone's hands at all, because the reality is eventually the tide is going to change, a new government is going to come in, and now those powers are already there for them to use and wield at their discretion. And you're left just hoping that they won't abuse that power, which is how a lot of us feel right now about this current government.